What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be reviewing a crypter in the hack forums called DraviD Crypter. It's a free crypter that you can download as long as you can either decode the encryption password, or you can go through file ice or share cache and get it. So what I'm going to be doing today is strictly talking about whether this file is infected, whether it has any backdoors or any malware characteristics to it. I'm going to be checking its network traffic, and I'm going to be checking its processes and seeing how it's running. I'm also going to be taking a quick look at its code. The point of this video is not to prove that it's a good crypter or that it always produces fully undetected viruses or malware. It's just to prove that, it does what it says it does, that it crypts files, and that it doesn't do it maliciously. I'm going to be hopefully making a lot of these videos in the future, so if you guys have any crypters that you want to submit, that you want me to take a look at, that's fine. So the first thing I always use is my TCP view here, okay? I'm actually going to close DraviD Crypter again, and we're going to reopen it because I want you guys to see. On the left, these are all the processes that are running. What you're looking for when you open up a file is any new connections. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I've looked through all these connections that are currently on my computer, and all of them are completely fine. They're all Windows processes. Nothing is wrong here. Also, I have my Komodo defenses at maximum, so it's at paranoid mode. Basically, if a program wants to do anything on my computer, if it wants to change any of the information on my computer, the heuristics will pick it up. Now, the thing is heuristics will pick up everything if you have it on paranoid mode, or if you have it in the highest settings and you have all the settings correct. But a lot of people don't. They don't have it on a level that high because it would be asking you permission for things all the time. So that's how viruses usually get by your systems. But anyways, so we're going to open up DraviD Crypter. Keep an eye on the left, and if any new connections come up, we'll see it. So as I open it, notice there's no news connections yet. We're going to check the defense system and see if anything has been blocked lately. And nope, this one's fine. And this right here, when it says DraviD Crypter, this isn't a block. This is just saying that it put it in the sandbox, and that's what I had instructed it to do. So that's fine. And everything here looks fine so far. We haven't had any malicious processes started. We haven't seen anything on the network traffic. Very simple test to do, and it looks clean for now. So we're going to take a look at a little bit of the features. It starts up here. It looks like it has an ad. Then we go into the actual crypting. It has options to add your file, add your icon, and then generate a random encryption key. These are all pretty typical features on a crypter. We'll go and check out the rest. It has assembly editing features, always useful in the program. You can do it with other tools afterwards. Even if you get a crypter that you can't change the assembly, you can always do that later in a different program. And settings, there's some basic settings here. You got to start up, use EOF for some servers. Most servers never use EOF, so you don't really need it. You have a hide file, disk explorer, disable command, disable task manager. And then you have some file pumper options here. Once again, pretty typical. I would say, just if you guys want my personal opinion, you probably shouldn't use many features, especially the file pumpers. They're kind of useless unless you think you can give someone a file bigger than 20 megabytes, sorry. You might want to do that, because if they're bigger than 20 megabytes, a lot of virus scanners won't even scan them. So you might just get it FUD that way. And then extras, it has an extension spoofer. You can change the extension of your file. So these are all pretty typical and very useful. I would say, you'd want to avoid crypters that have really useless features, and this one doesn't really seem to have any. Maybe it has a little bit too many. Some of the startup features like disable and disable Explorer and Task Manager, but everything else is very typical, and it's to be expected in every crypter. Usually the bad crypters are the ones with lots of different options that change, because at the end of the day, from a programmer, if you take my opinion, really the only thing that matters is the run P. What gets the program to inject, or what gets the program to start, that bypasses antiviruses. And you can add as many features as you want, but that's not going to change the startup feature. Anyways, so that means the stubs have to be good and stuff like that. So it all looks pretty good right now. I'm going to show you guys one last thing before we keep the video. So far, it seems that I would recommend this. It's a legit program. It's got some very good features. I like the layout. We're going to take a look in Simple Assembly Explorer just to double check and make sure that there's not anything funny going on in the code of this program. So I'm going to open up my Simple Assembly Explorer. And we're going to look at a few things here. You guys might not understand this program, but I'll try to help you out if you're new to it. First thing I want to go to is the entry point. I want to know what opens, or what is the commands that start once the file first opens. So maybe we can look and see if there's a backdoor installed, or there's a lot of things you can learn from the code. So it starts up in this main form. It's asking for my application. Stays. So I'm assuming now, because of all the different features in it, it's going to have many different events and many different objects. Looking at it right now, one thing I can tell you is it's not obfuscated, which is a good thing, and it's not encrypted, which is a good thing, because if it's a free crypter, you have to ask yourself, why is it encrypted and obfuscated? Because see, you can read everything in plain text right here. And if you didn't, you would ask yourself, well, it's free. Why would they try to encrypt it? Well, a pretty good reason why they might want to encrypt it is so they can install their own code that's malicious, that has malware or backdoors in it. And they would encrypt it so you can't easily see it in a program like this. The first thing I usually always want to check is the resources, because the resources down here, this is where the program keeps its stub. Okay, when these programs like DraviD Crypter here, it doesn't have an option to add your own custom stub. It just uses a built-in stub. Now the built-in stubs are always going to be saved in the resources. Okay, so I'm going to want to check those and take a look at that code and see if there's anything that's unusual. So one of the resources is their logo, and that seems fine. The other resource, we're going to take a look here. This is just a warning screen, so that's fine too. And the final resource, okay, so this is the run P. As you can see, look, it says run P right here. We have an invoke and we have a source. So these are all the different resources it uses. Possibly if it uses a different type of encryption, there's an option here to change your encryption type or some of the settings. It will use a different resource for, depending on what options you choose. So there's going to be two. But the main run piece here, and look at this. This is really, really important, guys. This kind of clears up any concerns about this program. If we look in this screen right here, you see the main source code for the run P. And as we can see, it's in plain text, which is very important. Because if someone's going to try to hide something in their run P, which would be what gets attached to your server. So let's say they wanted to put their own rat and bind it to your server when it's crypted. They're probably going to encrypt this text right here. They don't want you to know what they're doing. Here's his run P in plain text. So, in my recommendation, this is an even better crypter for beginners that want to learn. If they want to learn how to make their own crypter, I would highly recommend downloading this program. You have his run Ps out here for plain view for you to see and try to analyze it. Very, very cool that the coder does that. A lot of guys will obfuscate. Even if it's free, they'll still add obfuscation or encrypt their strings so you can't really read them. But everything here is in plain text, so you guys can go ahead and read that. Very, very nice that the coder did that. Look, there's even comments. It has it blocked out here. This is the part for the downloader. This is the part for the website blocker. Hide file after execution, and website blocker. You can see, look, it tries to block Gmail and Hotmail and eBay and PayPal and all that stuff. And those are the options. Those are the options that you have in this program that you can get into there. So everything here actually looks pretty good. So at the end, I'd recommend this file. If you guys want to use the crypter, check it out. It's got some good source code too that you can learn from. Oh yeah, and there's nothing malicious. Still, there's nothing that's popped up on TCP view, so it's not backdoored.